See Monica, Bella, Hesong, Brandon, Sally, Liam. Very good. Okay, so for the students who may have to leave, um, Brandon, do you have any updates? Can't hear you. Is it my speaker or no?
I hear him too.
Oh, disappeared. Okay, maybe. Oh, he's back.
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me now?
We can't hear you still.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yeah. I can hear you now.
Okay. So I'm just working on one project it's with Sally. Working on the Imagine AI project. I'm just trying to complete the spreadsheet. And then with uh the project with Dr. Wu, Aranis, and Dr. Liam, I'm looking to head and neck cancer papers, and I'm still completing uh like looking at like filling out like the data for all those papers as well.
Okay, good. Did you have any presentations or no?
No.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Dr. Wu will be joining late. So we'll hear from him. Great. Yeah, keep up the good work. Thank you. Okay. Oh, Bella, I know you just joined. Did you have any questions or updates on what you've been doing?
I just finished the city program training, so that's
Okay,
where I am. Yeah.
city program training. Okay. Did you get introduction to the data or not yet?
No, not yet.
Oh, okay. All right. So you'll be working on the EDW. Liam, anything she's going to be involved other than EDW, or what do you think?
Mainly EDW for now.
Okay.
And then obviously pacemakers.
Yeah. So you'll start with that, and then there are, other interesting projects that you can be involved later on. There's always a lot going on. So yeah, welcome, Bella. All right, good. Monica, do you have update?
Updates from my side is Dr. Yuri is able to give a few results for rhesus and pneumonitis. And he's still running a few more data to see if we can add up some clinical significance to our to whatever response we got. But he's still doing it. Haven't have all the data with me, all the results with me as for now, but I expect anytime this week. And I will begin writing an abstract starting today. So hopefully by Friday I'll have three. We're expecting three, so I will be able to give you a more update regarding those.
Okay, so
And
Friday,
Mhm.
yeah, my clinic is light. So yeah, just come and grab me. We should talk about, because the deadline is Wednesday. Is it Wednesday?
It's February 6th.
6th, it's a Tuesday.
It's
Okay.
Tuesday. Yeah. Our internal deadline was tomorrow.
Yeah.
I will still send Dr. Yuri an email today asking him if he's able to finish up, and hopefully by 1 or 2 days. I'll
Yeah.
be-
You have the format. I mean, it's just updating the
Yes,
page
it's just an
numbers.
update, right?
Yeah, so you'll be fine. Okay. Yeah, and then Liam can help you.
Yes. And for EDW, yeah, we're doing it. I'm doing it, and Arnie is doing it for now. For any confusions, Liam is been helping. So yeah, we're doing it slowly.
Very good. Very good.
That's all.
Okay. Thank you for your hard work, Monica. Okay, Sally, your updates.
So I'll start with undergrad updates. So EDW. Let me share my screen. So here's the update for EDW. So far, we've done 318 patients. So we have 1439 left. So hopefully, we just had like new people join recently this week. So by next week, hopefully the goal is around 500 patients being screened. Yes, and then for variant classification projects, so I talked with Eileen, and she was able to get hold of Emma, and I think they had some questions about their manuscripts. So they weren't sure what to do with the undefined values, how to describe them in discussion. So they have that one question to ask you.
So this question is from Emma and who?
Eileen, mainly Eileen, because I think she's writing the discussion part right now.
Oh, okay. Undefined NPV score. Oh, so it's so when they ran it, it just was undefined score. Add discussion on removal of melanoma and colorectal cancers from analysis. Oh, so they could not calculate MCC. Can we, so my question is, like, if they can show me how they ran MCC score and, it came back as blank or, unable to calculate, and what was reason behind it?
See if I have the like calculation. The table. Yeah, I can ask them about that question. I'm not exactly sure where they're at for. Yeah, I don't think the calculations are here, so I'm not able to pull it up.
Yeah, so ask them, are those only questions that are left?
Yeah, I think that's the only part they need to write, and then they're ready to like get reviewed by you and submit it.
Yeah. So I'm leaning towards, if you can calculate it, then we can take that out from the discussion, but I need to know why it wasn't able to be calculated, the whole process.
Okay. Eileen is coming in on Friday, so maybe I can also contact her before Friday and be
So
the middle
here's the
person.
thing, have them. have them, so if it's a day in my clinic, I don't mind being interrupted for 5 to 10 minutes with these questions. So have them just come to see me in person, print everything in paper so that I can add my comments. Yeah.
Okay.
And just be prepared to show me how they, like, you know, what it means. Like, why was MCC undefined? Is it because, you know, what value were zero? There's got to be a zero in the equation that makes the equation not being able to be performed. So
Mhm. Okay. I will have them do that. She's coming in on Friday, so and she'll be going in clinic, so I'm sure Eileen can show you her draft.
okay.
Okay, and then yes, that's the update for VC projects. And now going into Imagine AI. So Brendan helped me with, we like cross-checked our data, and so we were able to get all, I think there were like 77. So we collected all the like tissue and blood NGS results, and this is what we got. And there were some missing ones, but yes, we were able to finish that. So I think we're having a meeting with Imagine AI today. Is that correct, Dr. Liang? I saw it on the calendar.
Yep.
But that was mainly to discuss on their part, right? Like they were gonna set the cutoff value again. And Liam, do you want to talk about your meeting with them last time?
Yeah, so I had a meeting with them last week, and they gave me kind of an interim update on what they were working on. So what we had discussed the previous time was they wanted to basically customize the cutoff threshold values for our clinic specifically. So they gave us like two options with respective PPV and sensitivities. So they will probably, I requested, to see more information with the NPV and the specificity as well. So I think they'll be able to show us those thresholds for us today as well, and we can kind of decide where we want the cutoff values to be. So apparently their platform, their idea is they're going to customize it for individual like practices. So we actually can kind of choose where we want the threshold to be. So I think that'll be an interesting conversation to have with them today.
Yeah, so do we want to show this data? Should I send this data to them as well, or?
Yeah, I think we can share this so that
Okay.
they can look at it before. So I would say you need tissue. So so what does the checkbox mean? Is it
It means there is a tissue NGS report. And the green box it's just saying it's missing. So there's no tissue NGS for the second patient.
So blood NGS Tempus, why did you put RNA there? Because I don't think they do RNA in blood.
So it was the liquid. So we talked about how Tempest has two different, like we wanted to collect in tissue and liquid. And when I talked with Dr. Liam, we looked at the reports, and Tempest XT was the tissue report, and then Tempest RNA sequence is the liquid report.
So Tempest RNA-seq is always done in tissue. There's liquid Tempest biopsy that's done in the blood, and that's DNA based, not RNA. So you need to
Yeah.
clarify that. So it's called liquid biopsy, Tempest, and that's the targeted panel of DNAs. When you say EGFR overexpressed, that's overexpressed from the tissue. So clarify that, okay? So
Hey,
when
Sally,
it
can I
says,
quickly share my screen?
yeah,
So we actually just went off of Tempest's website, and if like on their website they have two assays here. One's called XT, and then the other is called XR.
so XR. So for hematologic malignancy like leukemia, they are doing this in blood, but we're only seeing solid tumor patient. So XR is all for all our patient, it's all coming from tissue. There's
Okay.
liquid biopsy. You can find the liquid biopsy here in Tempest website.
All right, I'll look into it with Sally and clarify. Thank you.
Yeah, so document the liquid biopsy. If it has liquid, that's all blood. And then I want you to make a simple column, blood and tissue, positive, negative, positive, negative. Like I said, exon 19 and 21 is positive. Everything else is negative. But you still want to write that in the reference, because later on we want to find out if they had any other mutations. So you want to write that information, what mutation it was. But at the end of the day, you just want to know double positive, double negative, only one done and positive and negative. We want to be able, that's the whole purpose, to code it in the right way that we can analyze them better. So Sally, are you done with annotating it, or do you need to do it more?
I was done, but I guess I need to go back and check for the liquid Tempest. But I
But
did have
for the
one.
sake of today's meeting, you
Yeah.
don't have to go back. You can do that later after the meeting. But
Yes.
do what I told you to do, positive, negative.
Okay. And then there were some discrepancies with what I actually found in the report versus the actual data. So like when I received this actual data from Lunit, it said this patient was positive, EGFR positive, but the reports actually showed negative. Yeah, there was like two of these cases. So this is one, and then this is another one.
Really?
Yeah.
And you looked at every report, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes. I mean, there were only two for this patient, one garden and the in-house.
So you have to look at two things. One, go into actual patient note that I wrote. And did
Okay.
I describe the patient as EGFR mutated lung cancer or not?
Okay.
So that's important because I might just relied upon the outside hospitals report that I found in the Access Epic anywhere or this document.
Care anywhere.
Yeah,
Okay.
do some more digging because it's a big error. So,
Okay.
and let me know. And then if you still aren't clear, just bring it to me. I'll do the digging together.
Okay. Sounds good. I think that is all for me.
Okay. Good. So let's get the variant classification. Remember, there's 4 projects. We gotta crank this out first. And any paper that's out before, well, so this is gonna be our new policy. In parallel, any paper that's coming out, we're gonna get that out online, which is SSRN, or you can do the Cold Spring Harbor, that's the Bio RXV or the Med RXV. If it's more clinical, use Med RXV. If it's more biology, use Bio RXV. So any paper that comes out from our lab directly, DART papers are exception. It's not our labs paper, but our labs paper, radiomics, pathomics, anything, we want to get it out into the world first. And then the secondly, I feel like some journals are holding our journals like more than 3 months. And I think that's too much. Our Albert Curie paper is almost there for like a year now. I don't know. It's just crazy. So Liam and Sally, you'll be the enforcer. If one project is more than 3 months old, we will send it to a different journal. We're not gonna withdraw because what we can do is, because if they accept it in the 4th month of then we'll just withdraw from the other journal, because the other journal is gonna start all over and it's gonna take another 3 months. I don't feel like we can rely on one journal to just I just feel like they're not. They kind of dropped their ball, and I feel like a lot of journal has it's been taking too long. So we have like publication tracker. Sally and Liam, you guys need to track where the submitted things are, and if it's more than 3 months, we will need to move on to the second journal. And then not necessarily withdrawing from the other journal because of the reason I told you. We can always withdraw from the second journal and get that published sooner if they accept it pretty soon. Okay, so let's move on. So what time is that meeting today? Imagine AI?
It's 2:30.
2:30.
Okay. Okay.
Dr. Chae, I have a quick question regarding the preprints. So we've updated our SOP, and previously we've mentioned Landsat, MedRxiv, and SSRN. Do you want to change that list?
No, I think that's all we have. So
Okay.
so we can, I don't have any preference between those 3. So yeah, we can submit to any of those venues that we think it's more appropriate. If you have questions, ask me which one to submit. And sometimes they don't accept it for whatever reason. Then we'll try the others. So
Okay.
yeah, so Sally, same thing with the variant classification projects. If it's all written up, being submitted to a new journal, in parallel, it has to be submitted.
Okay,
Okay.
sounds good.
Same thing with Monica, the radiomics paper. Once it's all written up, ready to be submitted, to submit to the preprint journals. And I think it will be all good for your careers as well, because you've done your work, it's published online. People can look at it anytime, versus the journal doesn't accept it. It can be buried for next couple years. You know what I mean? I think it's really unfair. So I want to utilize this new system. And these new journals are making us pay like $3,000 a lot for a lot of online access journals. And so people now, really want to publish without these journals that are making us pay a lot. Okay. Yeah, keep up the good work, Sally. We'll move on to Hesong.
Right, right, let's start with Dart as usual. The NEOC paper in JNCI is still pending. With BAC, Liam has been helping out with the submission process. The bottleneck is that we'll have to collect the ORCID ID from a couple of people, and so we're gonna wait for that.
That's
And
what project
submit
is that?
for BAC,
BAC, okay.
which will be submitted to lung cancer.
Lung cancer, yeah.
And then I sent you the final versions of thyroid and vulvar and small cell ovarian. Have you had a chance to discuss, like finalize it with Dr. Kurzbach?
Yes, I skimmed over it. It's in the hands of Kurdrak, so I'll see if she responded, and I'll let you know if she responded.
Okay. And then clear cell gyne and desmoid, we're still collecting COIs up until the 31st tomorrow. And so we'll be submitting clear cell gyne to Nature Communications and desmoid to JITC.
Okay, so you're working on those two now?
Clear cell and desmoid we finalized it. We're like collecting COIs from all the authors.
Oh, so it's going to be
Mm.
oh, so after COI collection, you'll be submitting it.
Yes.
Yeah, submitting.
Yes. And then, so that's it for Dart. For
So
last trial.
for the
yeah.
Dart, I know you have Google, was it Google spreadsheet?
Yeah.
Yeah. If you can
Want to see.
update everything on where we are and just
Mhm.
send that link to me.
Sure. Yeah, that's all the updates I have for Dart. Last trial, we're gonna have the sim meeting tomorrow. I made like a slight update on the protocol and I sent it to Amarante. And she received
What
it.
time is that meeting?
It's 2 p.m.
2 p.m. Okay. So it's in I think it's ARCIS 1206.
Yes, Archie's 12. Yeah, 12th floor.
Okay, so for this meeting, I want all of you, Sally, Liam, and Hesong, all of you to attend in person. Uh, and I know you guys all have the badges, so make sure you guys clip your badges. Anytime you are in another Northwestern building, I think they really I want that to be seen. So you guys have all your badges, so you know, necklace, whatever format, just make sure you have it on your body. Especially for tomorrow's meeting. Oh, yeah, and then Carolyn Maloney showed interest in working with the trial. So, Hesong, if you can invite her. Do you know Carolyn?
No.
You don't. Oh, because you have not been in my clinic. Liam, you know Carolyn, right? So make sure you invite her to the sim meeting.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll have to check if she has clinic or not though.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I'll definitely invite her.
Yeah, she's our new DTI fellow from Ireland. Um, oh yeah, for that matter, this is an educational process, so you can invite Tarek as well. Just for the learning purpose.
Okay.
Because when I was a fellow at MD Anderson, I was always asked to be at every sim meeting because this is how you learn how to how to write clinical trial, how to troubleshoot and all that. So yeah,
What does SIM stand for?
I
It
don't know
stands for
actually.
study implementation meeting.
What is it?
Study implementation meeting.
Study
Implementation.
implementation meeting. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So this is all about how do you get things done, like uh and usually all the study coordinators, everyone would come and discuss. Okay, so that's that.
Yeah, that's that. And then Stas and I have some updates on TAP project. Stas ran all the analysis, and so I'll share this with you. This is what he has so far. These are the KM curves for adeno patients. Selection
Yeah. So
criteria. Oh, yeah.
because most people don't know this project, can you explain what this project is, what we're trying to see?
Yeah, so we have the adeno patients and the squamous patients, and we're trying to analyze their like heterogeneity score. Like the more heterogeneous the tumor is, there has been some preclinical data that these tumors respond poorly to immunotherapy. And so we're trying to prove that using like this massive data set that Tempus has given us. And so it looks like we tried to like stratify by like high and low TMB, high and low PDL1, but what he found was he found some statistical significance among the high TMB patients. High TMB, that's what I heard. Wait. High TMB and high versus low math. So math is like the score, the measure of intra-tumor heterogeneity. So the higher math means higher heterogeneity. Yeah, all of these patients have high TMB as he stated here. And so we've just like looked at the survival curves between the high and low math. And high math subset have poor prognosis. Oh, with the p-value of 0.003.
So these are our own Northwestern patients, non-small cell
The-
lung cancer patient who received
These
the,
are pan-institution Tempest data.
but if you look at the number, there's 7, 19, 11, 30. Are you sure?
Yeah, these patients only received pembro. It doesn't include other types of immunotherapy. And I think I had a lot of trouble. I think Stas also had some trouble retrieving data, and so he could only analyze the pembro patients. That's why the numbers are so small.
Oh, really? Just the pembro?
Yeah, yes. First line as pembro as first line.
So Tempest is such a big company working with so many institutions, and all they could get pembro is 7 and 19 and 11 and 30. It's unbelievably small for such a big database company. Wow. 7, 19, 11 and 30. Okay, anyway. So first line, everyone who got pembro, do you know if they combined pembro with chemo, or just is this just the monotherapy?
This is any regimen that includes pembro.
Okay, so this is combined data. That's even worse than pembro monotherapy. And then you have the first graph is within high TMB. All right, but what's the difference between the first and
Yeah. So these are both high TMB, but the cutoffs are different. So for the first one, the cutoff for TMB, the high versus low TMB is 50th percentile, and then the bottom one is 15th percentile.
so bottom one, if you add, it's 41 patient. But if I'm trying to understand how, I mean, wouldn't the total be still the same?
It's because this only includes the high TMB patients. So with the 50th percentile, there are more patients with high TMB. But with the stricter 50th percentile cutoff, there are fewer high TMB patients.
I see. So so the lower, well, the first one is high TMB with the upper 25%, 25%.
Upper 50th percentile.
That's upper 50. Try to read. And then upper 15th percentile on the right. Right is the lower graph, right?
Yeah, he
Yeah.
means the lower one. Yeah.
Okay. Hmm. So this is just I don't know.
Yeah, this is just among adenine.
Hmm. So for both different TMB cutoff, there seems to be, and this is not PFS. Oh, this is PFS? Both?
This is OS. I don't think you could find the PFS values on
Really?
Tempest
He
on
put
tab.
PFS, if you look at the graph. He put median PFS.
Oh. Okay, maybe it was PFS. Let me confirm. But yeah, it's most likely PFS then if he says it here.
But there's gotta be OS data too, because the OS is usually more important than PFS, so.
Oh. Yeah, it's a difficult database to like, play with. Let me clarify some things.
Yeah. So action items, definitely, we can't confine to adeno. So adeno, non-adeno, or squamous. The best category is squamous versus non-squamous. That's how they usually clinical trials data is reported. That's number one. Number two, let's make sure we can do PFS and OS. Work with Tempest because they gotta generate both data for us. And then third, some people use Atezo, Durva, Nevo. So I can't imagine they only made Pembro data available. So there's gotta be other drugs. So let's figure out how to get access to other drugs. And also, lastly, I mean, we ask for all the data that meets our eligibility criteria, and I think just getting that small number of patient is, I don't know, there's something that's so strict about our eligibility criteria, but
Well, so in total we got, so with this, you remember there was a sample size limit of 499 patients.
yeah,
We have 300 adeno and 199 squamous. And
okay.
I'm looking at Stas's like messages, and it seems like he tried to see the relationship between math and the squamous cohort, and he couldn't find anything. And so he did look at the squamous, but it's not squamous versus non-squamous, it's squamous versus adeno.
So that, let's say 300 adeno, if is, so we want 300 adeno who got, so that's including everybody, first line, second line, third line?
It was just first line.
So out of everybody who got first line immunotherapy, did it limit to immunotherapy?
Yes.
But we did start with 300 adeno.
Yes.
And how did we end up with 26 patient and 41 patient? I know
Well, so yeah.
TMB, but I can't imagine TMB being, it's 50% cutoff. Then, these, it has to be at least 150 versus 150. TMB high and low, if it's 50% cutoff.
Yeah, because we're only looking at Pembro. I think that's
Maybe that's why.
so Pembro patients with high TMB, that this is the number we're getting.
Oh, okay. So let's see, because our inclusion criteria is immunotherapy. We don't want, Tagrisso patient. We don't want chemo only patient. We said immunotherapy. So you
Right.
can still work with the whole 300 patient and see if you can generate graph like this.
Yeah,
Because our
I'm still
assumption
figuring
is
it out. I
everyone
think
got
Stas
immun.
is also having some trouble, but
Yeah.
we will try. We're both aware that we want to expand this sample size, but yeah, he already knows. I think he's trying.
Yeah. So talk to Tempest people. They're there to help you navigate the data. If you need a teleconference, like how do we get it, we can get up to 500, but this is, I mean, I think it's great that we see a signal. So the lesson we get from here is, in a group with high TMB, having more heterogeneous tumor will lead to worse outcome. And that's what we're seeing. If you have two, it's going to be a seed of resistance. Call it seed of evil. So many different clones. They don't respond well to immunotherapy, whether it's mono or combo. And we've seen that before, but we haven't, but we believe that effect is more pronounced in TMB high group. And I don't think any other group has shown that. So I do think it's a valuable data.
Oh, Chae, let me clarify. I'm so sorry. So initially we were only interested in the squamous patients, and so we got 301. And then we wanted to add the adeno control, and so they added 189. Yeah, 189. So I guess it was like 500, 490. But yeah, so we have 189 adeno. And among them, we're only looking at the pembro patients with high TMB. So that's why the sample size is so small. And there was no difference. There was nothing, he didn't find any significance among the squamous patients.
I see.
Oh, and then he says among the 189 adeno patients, only 112 patients have enough filled in info to calculate PFS. So yes, it is PFS. And only 112 patients had enough information. I guess this is like progression versus non-progression and like the dates of progression, stuff like that.
I see. Hmm. So I guess what we can do, the first of all, I guess I wish there wasn't 500 limit there. But with what we have, 189 adeno. I guess you said the Pembro group. Do you know how many how many belongs to Pembro group?
I don't have the exact number,
Hmm.
but it was among the 112 patients who have all the information to calculate PFS.
Hmm. Yeah, so I guess if you do 50% cutoff, it will be like 56 patients. So among 56, I don't know, you can do the low high math. Still doesn't add up to 56, but
55 Pembro, I'm sorry.
55 Pembro.
55 Pembro, yeah, with all the data enough to calculate PFS.
Okay. Okay. So if we confirm that all the adeno patients received first-line immunotherapy, we can just run it in that total group. Because all we know is that they received the immunotherapy. So you don't have to limit to Pembro for that matter. Now, if you can break down to each drug name, and that's great, but if we can't, that's our best bet. And then having that data, did they receive immuno only or immunochemo? So that will help us because the heterogeneity, the effect may be different in mono versus combo. If we can look at that, that would be great. And then still, I understand in squamous, we didn't see graph like this, but still, I want to see if it's flipped, because that's what we saw in the TCGA. So still generate the graph and show us. Now, if we think in squamous, it doesn't mean much. I would say we can ask Tempest. I know the limitation is 500. We didn't see much with squamous. Can you make 500 all? I don't know. And rerun the data. I know it's asking them for another data acquisition, but I feel like maybe that may be the right next step. Now, for the upcoming ASCO, I do think and then the other thing is we said within high TMB, we can look at the low TMB and show that math might not have any differentiating power.
Right, he looked at low TMB too, and there was no difference.
Yeah, so we have to report that too.
Mhm,
You
of
can't
course.
just, yeah, we have to report that in this group, it didn't mean much, but in this group, it meant a lot. And now, last thing is in low math, our expectation is, did they have driver mutation? And there's lots of driver mutations in adeno versus squamous. And that might be the reason we're seeing, unfavorable survival here. Because we all know in people with EGFR, ALK, if they receive immunotherapy, they don't do well. That might be the reason. Versus squamous, they usually don't have driver mutation. And people with driver mutation usually do have less clonal diversity. That might be the reason. And we've looked at this in the TCGA paper that Stas wrote as well. So we have to look into that. This low math group, and I don't know.
High math, I think you mean, right?
No, low math. Wait.
High math performs poorly. So it means high heterogeneity.
Oh, yeah. Here, there's low math here.
High math and low math.
Yeah. So high math doesn't do well, and I told
Right.
you the more diversity within high TMB. So
Right.
this is becoming a little bit confusing. So let me explain it to you more. Usually high TMB respond better to immunotherapy.
Mm.
Now, what is the reason for high TMB? There's two different explanations. One, you have one clone that has so many mutation in that clone. So that's usually like MSI high tumors. You can have MSI high cancer with so many mutation, but that all happened in one clone. Versus you have many different mutations in all different clones. So it's like a baobab tree, so many branches, so many clones. All the branches will have different clones, different mutations. But if you do the mutation analysis, you can kind of find all these mutations across different clones. Here, math or ITH analysis is trying to find clonality rather than the mutation numbers.
Mhm.
Yeah, so separate that concept. So many different clones usually mean worse prognosis, whether you get targeted therapy, chemo, or immunotherapy. So I think that's what we're seeing here. Because they're both, remember, they're both high TMB. So the status paper was telling us all high TMB are not created equal. They're different. That's our point. Now, and then the second point we want to make is in terms of the effect of TMB and heterogeneity on lung cancer treatment outcome, adenosquamous behave very differently. Somehow they're very different. And we didn't know this well enough until now. So number one, showing that adenosquamous are showing very different outcome. Number two, high TMB, low TMB are showing different outcome. Number three, high math, low math are showing different outcome. So these are all important part of our analysis. So with the limited time that we have, I think you and Stas can still write this up for ASCO. And then if for the limited time you have, if you can't do it for whatever reason, we can shoot for the World Lung in San Diego. But I would try ASCO first because it's closer. And you can submit to World Lung with more data later on. But whatever you have now, I think it's still presentable as it is. Now going back to the mutation information, in adeno, low math means low clonality, usually
Yes.
means more driver mutations.
Mm.
So I would, just like he did in the TCGA paper, in low math, do we have access to, driver mutation? Like high math, low math, what are the distribution of actionable driver mutations? Can we make a table or a graph about that information? If we don't have it, I mean, we'll ask Tempus. But it's not required for the ASCO abstract. But for the manuscript, we definitely need it. All right, I think I gave all my comments. Any other questions, Haesung?
No, that's all for now. So histology difference, TAB difference, math difference, and driver mutation difference. Those 4 points for ASCO.
Yes.
Yeah.
And OS. We need
Oh, right, yeah.
OS. At the end of the day, if squamous is really just no correlation whatsoever, can we just get straightforward like 500 only with, I don't know. Let's
Mm,
ask that question to Tempus. Because we want to write the most robust, and that might be for World Lung. Yeah. And the same type of analysis, can you and Stats do it with our own Northwestern patients? I'm sure we have, patient numbers like 26, 41.
maybe once the EDW is made, it might be easier. Because previously we were trying to use the radiomics data set to.
Yeah, because in the
Yeah,
radiomics data set, the Tempus report available patients were how many you said?
So, the ones with TMB, it was like 58.
58.
And that was very heterogeneous. It was a very heterogeneous cohort because it wasn't just first line IO, it was I think all lines. And some of them only had like chemo or targeted or something like that. Yeah.
Really? Liam, do you know about this cohort, radiomics cohort with TMB Tempus available data? Because radiomics cohort and Monica, you can chime in. We limited to first line immunotherapy only, radiomics, right? And how many patients are in our radiomics cohort now, Monica?
159.
159. And among them, Haesung, you think they're like maybe like a 50 patient who has Tempus data?
Was 58. So 62 patients with Tempest IDs, but 58 with DNA and CNV. 36 with RNA.
Hmm.
And it was from the data set that had 205 patients. So I guess Monica's saying that those like 158 patients have like the segmentation done, but I think we used the complete data set that included all the clinical information. But
Oh,
at that time when we were working on it, it had all lines of therapy. So I guess now maybe you guys like cleaned out a bit, but for when we touched it, it was at the time when like it was all very like mixed up.
okay. So Monica, the 150 what?
59.
159 is we got rid of patients who, you know, we cannot analyze for radiomic standpoint.
Exactly.
But
There
then we
were a
have,
few which were not getting immunotherapy as a first line.
right.
Then we were, I guess, so many of them like wrong DICOMs, unsegmented files.
I see. But they all 159 non-small cell lung first line immunotherapy, whether it's mono or combo, and then they all have PFS and OS, correct?
Yes,
Yeah.
they
So-
have correct DICOMs. We've segmented them all. So yes, Hesung is right. Previously it was 205, but later we have to clean a lot.
Clean
So
up.
now it's 159.
Okay. So let's do this. Give 159 data to Haesung. And Haesung, you can kind of see among them, you already have patients data who have Tempus. So we're not looking at RNA this time. We're just looking at whether they have Tempus data or not. And let's just do an initial screening. Out of 159, how many actually have had Tempus, not from the blood, tissue Tempus done? And if that number is still about, I don't know, 50 patients or above, we could run this type of analysis because, you know, look at this subset that's 26 patients, and you can still generate nice graph like this, even with 26 patient with 50% cutoff. So it's starting with 50 patient, you can still see if the same trend can be applied to our own Northwestern data. And we can submit, we can even combine those data. And then the analysis would be exactly same as Stas did for Tempus data set. So, and then it doesn't, like I say, it doesn't have to be Pembro. It can be any immunotherapy. So, yeah. So why don't you screen that 159 and see which one has Tempus tissue, and let Stas know who they are, and Stas has access to the raw data, so he can run the same analysis as this exact research. Is that clear?
Sounds good. Yeah.
Good. Thank you.
And then I just have a transplant update. For the pre-transplant projects, I collected all the data and Dr. Wangi did the PFS. or like the survival curve analysis that he will present to you. What I want to show you right now is the sorry, let me share this screen. Is this project. It's the organ-specific analysis of the association between chronic graft rejection and post-transplant malignancy. And what's different from comma is that I did like an individual, like organ-specific, time-dependent Cox. I decided to take out intestine because the sample size was, oh wait, the sample size is this. It's very small. So all intestine and transplant patients are 594. And with all of my filters done, there's only 3 stomach, 1 duodenum, like 485 small intestine, and 105 large intestine. So I'm thinking about just analyzing the 5 main organs.
But what is the reason for exclusion? Other than that, there's small sample size.
Oh, well, yeah, I think that's the main reason. And oftentimes, like pancreas too, but so for pancreas in transplant, they often use like a segment from duodenum to like ensure the bile drainage. With intestine as well, like there's oftentimes multi-organ transplant happening, and I think that's why a lot of the transplant cases got excluded, because I got rid of any like multi-organ transplants. For pancreas, I kept them because it seems like that's the standard of care. Yeah, I'm just confused because like for pancreas, like pancreas plus duodenum segment seems to be like standard of care, and so I kept it that way. But for intestine, I'm not sure what to do. But even if I do try to increase the sample size by keeping the multi-organ, maybe there could be some increase. But yeah, I wasn't too sure how to exactly clean the data. For kidney, liver, heart, lung, I excluded any multi-organ transplant.
Oh, okay. So show me pancreas. What's the number there?
For pancreas, we have 1,000, nearly 2,000.
2000. Okay. And show me intestine again. 500. I think this for paper purpose, I think it's fine to take it out, but Dr. Wu, any thoughts? Oh, I can't hear
Oh,
you.
we can, yeah.
Yeah, I agree with because number is small and even in testing group there are 4 different organs, so it can be very heterogeneous. So I think it's much better to deliver how major for 4 or 5 organs outcomes in terms of graft rejections and PTM, because this is a large database study. So this is number for this intestine might not be sure to deliver some message. So
Okay, yeah. So let's, do without intestine. For pancreas, I know it's standard to do it with duodenum, so I think as long as you just write that in somewhere in the method that pancreatic for we included ones that were transplant with duodenum. As long as you mention it, it's fine. I don't think that's excluding multi-organ transplant.
Yeah, I kept them, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So show me what you found.
Yeah, so this is just like the overall baseline characteristics. I also collected the tumor types. These aren't just like the first diagnosis of malignancy, but these are just like diagnosis at any point.
Oh, at any point, okay. So this
Yeah,
any point meaning before and after transplant, or what?
after transplant. These are
All
all post-transplant
okay.
plant PTM. For kidney, like 10% of them oh, this is kind of confusing actually. So, for kidney transplant,
Can you
10% of
point
the
the first
cases.
row? Can you point
Oh,
the,
okay,
yeah.
so this is kidney.
yeah, but you can, the first two rows, you can pin
Oh,
it.
like fix it, yeah.
Yeah, you can do it.
Oh, I forgot how to.
Anyone
Does
know
anyone know?
where?
I forgot.
No, go to the view and there will be
View,
a freeze
freeze
something.
top.
Freeze, yeah, freeze top row.
Okay. Oh, wait, what?
No,
Top two rows.
no. On freeze means you put your cursor on the kidney
row
number.
two.
No,
Okay.
49.4. No.
Kidney, just
49.4. Yeah,
This
under
one?
the kidney. Yeah, no. In just put the cursor on the 49.48. Yeah, 40 there. Put and then on freeze planes and freeze plane. Freeze. And you can scroll down. Okay.
Oh, like that. I see. Cool. Do you see this well?
yeah.
10% of kidney have PTM. 12, 21, 23, 11% of pancreas.
Hmm. So lung is 22. Okay.
In terms of rejection, we have 11%.
Uh-huh.
Hardly any in, and not too many in liver, heart, pancreas, so mainly kidney and lung for chronic rejection graft failure.
Retransplant rates. Okay. Post-transplant malignancy. Okay. Some of post, what is the group? What is some of post-transplant malignancies? What does that mean?
Patients with only one malignancy diagnosed, with different types of malignancy diagnosed, and up to 7. So this
okay.
basically means 7 different types of post-transplant malignancy among kidney patients, among kidney transplant recipients.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, I think I need to recalculate the percentile. That's weird. But anyways, yeah.
Okay.
And more than half of lung transplant patients expired. For pancreas, only 28%.
Okay.
So in this project, our hypothesis is high graft failure should be combined with low post-transplant malignancy. Is it correct?
Yeah, so if you
initial.
yeah, so I looked at the organ specific, like time dependent Cox, and we see this like great inverse relationship. So this means that among patients who have chronic rejection graft failure, there is a very low chance of developing post-transplant malignancy. And this is among the kidney transplant recipients.
Oh, just kidney? Oh, just kidney. Okay.
This is just kidney,
Or-
yeah. So previously I looked at the
Ah.
total like pan organ recipients, but this is just kidney. And it's very different among different organs, so I can show you that.
Yeah.
We see this trend even after excluding chronic rejection related deaths.
Good.
This one isn't as clear. So what I'm thinking of is just focusing on the
So tell me
patients
the
who
difference.
develop.
Tell me the difference. Oh,
Yeah, the difference is like these patients have developed chronic rejection graft failure, and we're trying to see if they do develop post-transplant malignancy. And this one is the inverse. So among patients who develop post-transplant malignancy, do they eventually develop chronic rejection graft failure? And the relationship isn't as like clear.
Clear as, yeah.
So I want to focus on this. It's like very apparent,
Mhm.
like inverse
Yeah, I
relationship.
think so. Yeah, the first one is much better. PTM, some patients have several kinds of PTM, so it can make some bias. So as you said, the first one seems much plausible.
At least there's a trend with univariate, right? If you develop,
Yeah.
then your risk of chronic rejection is lower, right? But if
Yes.
you do multivariate, it goes, well, there's some 0.9, there's some. So I think because this is still time dependent, Cox, you can use this for supplemental figure because some people still will ask, but it's
Mhm.
not the main figure. The main figure is the first one.
Mhm.
And it's very strong. If you develop rejection, you're protected from developing cancer because you're gonna reject cancer too. So
Yeah,
yeah, this 0.1, 0.2, I think this is so good to be true. This is really good data.
the thing is, let me show you other organs.
I know
So
this
with
is organ specific, like you said.
yeah, that's why it's fun. So kidney, we see this great inverse relationship. With liver, we don't. Like these are not
Okay.
statistically significant, but there is a kind of a trend, I guess. I'm not sure.
Univariate.
Hard to say.
Oh, but it's not significant. Okay.
Yeah.
This is liver. But this is a lot of patient. Like how many liver did you, this is
Liver, we have 108K thousand.
108,000. Wow, but we don't see that relationship. And the other way around. So if you develop cancer,
Mm.
but this is more, I guess, stronger relationship here. If you develop cancer, then your risk of rejection is lower. I think there may be so can you go up? So multivariate, if you develop rejection, your risk of PTM is the hazard ratio is 0.001.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's not significant though.
It's if you develop rejection, you can die of rejection. That's the right side. It's pretty high. So I guess if you reach, so I understand this is still time dependent. I wonder, like you reject and if you reject and then you die of rejection, then you don't really have time to develop cancer.
Yeah, but this one we excluded CRGF related deaths.
Hmm.
And even still, we don't see.
And why is
anything.
it empty on the right side? Oh, because you really,
Oh,
good.
yeah, because
Death is all
I
gone.
got rid of the deaths.
All the deaths. Okay.
I haven't done the retransplant yet.
The
Yeah.
PTM incidence is relatively low in liver transplant.
Yeah,
PTM
baby. Let's look at it.
incidence, 12%.
It's still not too low. Huh. But it seems still protective. even more. With the multivariate, I know univariate is not significant, but yeah, I think it's still, yeah, really like thought-provoking. This is and tell me what you added in the multivariate analysis. What
Oh,
variant?
this should be changed, but I didn't add those transplant.
Oh yeah, not the post-transplant. So age, sex, race, BMI, performance, ABO, match, HLA, donor, transplant.
Organ type should also be gone. This one I didn't too.
Oh, because it's, yeah.
Yeah, so this is like the previous version.
Oh. Okay. Dr. Wu, that makes sense, right? The multivariate, it's all transplant variables.
Yeah, I think if they're different based on which type of organ transplant, it will be also good, initiative to discuss about PTM issues. So, what about heart and lung and pancreas? Was it the same?
Yeah, let me show you. For heart,
Yeah.
not significant.
Mhm.
Hmm.
And then for, would you like to see lung?
Wait. If you, well, yeah, heart not significant. There was a trend. But yeah, the PTM, yes, then the risk is lower. That's significant. Interesting. Okay, next.
This is lung. And we do see a significance here. Even after, actually, if we exclude deaths, we don't.
We don't.
So I
Mm.
guess there were just too many patients expired.
And then if they develop cancer, it doesn't mean they're protective of future rejection. But if you exclude death, maybe. Hmm. Um, yeah, the lung that I guess compared to kidney, lung is exposed to so many carcinogens. I think that protective effect is the less than kidney, but I think it's protective. Yeah. Good. I like it.
Now for pancreas, nothing as well.
Nothing.
No.
It's just like one.
Also, I'm thinking of just getting rid of this. We didn't do it last time, like excluding PTM related retransplant because that doesn't really happen too often. But I just included it just in case, but I don't think that's meaningful.
PTM related retransplant.
Yeah.
Because of the low sample size.
Yeah, here. So with PTM related retransplant, it happens in only 166 cases among the 579,000 patients with any organ type transplant. For pancreas, we only have one patient who received PTM related retransplant.
Okay, so we
So
can take it out.
Yeah.
So I guess it's because of the low sample size. Because the univariate is still, yeah, 0.04, but it's not significant. But I feel like we can still report it So, okay. So kidney, liver, heart, lung, pancreas. Mm, do we ever transplant bladder?
Bladder, no. We don't have the data in UNOS. I also requested the international data, and I haven't gotten any response.
This is UNOS.
Yeah, this is UNOS, but we
Yeah,
don't
but
have bladder transplant.
because we have international data for lung, right?
So that is something that I was going to request, and I sent out an email last week, and I still haven't gotten any reply.
Okay. And did you make one for everything combined?
Well, but that one, I already made a poster on it previously. The
Right.
comma.
Yes. Can you show that
Yeah.
to us? The comma poster?
For comma.
Did you present the all
Comma?
solid organ data in another meeting?
No, it was just comma.
It's just a comma. Okay. Yeah, so I think definitely you should present this data in ESCO.
Even the like the pan organ one,
Yeah,
this one. Okay.
yeah. So can you explain this to us? Because I know people who are not familiar with this data, just
Yeah, here we looked at like rejection-induced graft failure. We didn't limit ourselves to chronic rejection, which is more T-cell related. Acute rejection tends to be more antibody related.
so this is
But
all combined rejection?
yes,
Okay.
rejection-induced graft failure. And here we did the time-dependent Cox as well. So among patients who develop rejection-induced graft failure, these patients had reduced PTM risk with a hazard ratio of 0.19, even after excluding retransplant and death.
Yes, so if you develop rejection, then your risk of post-transplant cancer goes down by 80%. And that's huge. And I don't know, Dr. Hesong or Dr. Wu, any similar reports like this ever done
Among lung transplant, yes.
among lung transplant? Was it similar how they reported it? Was our finding different?
I forgot this paper. It was here. I cited here.
So there was the JAMA paper.
Let me look it up. Maybe it was just focused on PTM. I actually don't remember finding any papers that looked at like this specific kind of relationship. So yeah, it was just PTM among lung transplant recipients. And all of these also kind of talk about one or the other, but not like the specific relationship between the two.
Yeah. So I think this is like a lot, like a public health is like the big topic. You can even shoot for JAMA. JAMA would love paper like this, and they're very high impact paper. Shoot for JAMA first. If they don't take it, JAMA Oncology. JAMA, try for JAMA, and then if not, Lancet. And then they have JAMA Oncology, Lancet Oncology. To try. So, this is a pretty big, a pretty big, nice hypothesis, large data set. So all solid and then by 5 different type of organs. I think this is a great, and then the time dependent as well as the landmark. So can you explain these graphs for our, can you just zoom in and then maybe explain that to our group?
So this is PTM-free survival graphs. And so what this means is if you develop graft failure right after transplant, then you have like higher probability of being PTM-free. So basically, if you don't have graft failure, you are more likely to develop post-transplant malignancy. And then this graph is if you develop graft failure, like graft rejection-induced graft failure within the first year post-transplant, then you have like nearly zero probability of developing PTM. In other words, almost 100% of being PTM free. So that's how you see the inverse relationship.
Yeah, I think this is great. It's a crazy graph, like almost zero. Yeah. So I think you can make these graphs for all 5 types, because that's what they would want to know. But again, I think we need some thinking about acute and chronic, kind of dissect that if you can. And because you honed in on chronic rejection.
I think it's better to focus on chronic, especially because it's a large database, and chronic has more to do with T cell, which has more to do with the PTM, incidence. I think it's good to focus on one cell type, like T cell mechanism,
Yeah.
because like acute has more to do with humoral, like antibody immunity.
Right. What is the percentage between the two, acute and chronic?
I didn't look at that.
So that's also gonna be organ specific, right? Yeah. So, Lancet JAMA is no joke. They wanna see. So I agree you should focus on chronic. That doesn't mean we hide everything about acute. It has to be all supplemental. What happens if we just look at acute? How is it different than chronic? So just the preliminary level of data that acute didn't really show that kind of chronic, and then it's the fewer data, but you still have to show what happens with acute. And kind of discuss that in the introduction, that why we're focusing on chronic for this paper, and for acute, this is what we've seen, and we're not going in depth on that. We're just showing what we saw in in the database, just at the supplemental data. So
Okay, but for ASCO, we're gonna focus just on chronic.
yes, for ASCO, just
Okay.
so
Yeah.
whatever you showed is enough for ASCO purpose.
Mhm.
For the manuscript, we know reviewers gonna keep asking about all these stuff, so we might as well just get prepared all at the supplemental data level. But still, for the paper, I agree it has to be chronic. But this one is acute chronic combined, so that's why I'm saying still explore what the data looks like with the acute and versus chronic. But the manuscript, all the main figures will be all just chronic alone. But for the main, what for the ASCO purpose, you should sort of work on these graphs with just the chronic, because this is all combined.
Mhm.
Yeah, so the ASCO, I would for the ASCO, I would do all solid organ and describe how 5 organs were different in terms of this relationship. And I would also do more in-depth lung cancer risk, and have a separate abstract for just like a lung cancer related risk, lung transplant, and then PTM with more like a lung cancer, and then focus on the lung cancer recurrence more, and then submit that for the world lung. Yeah, but still work on. So let's have first JAMA, and second Lancet, and then JAMA Oncology followed by Lancet Oncology. That will be the number 1, 2, 3, 4. I feel like, I've really not seen any this scale and this exciting hazard ratio. And I think people I, this I mean, this is like a public health thing, and the more people will be getting transplant, and they need to understand this relationship, and this is exciting. And then if you write exciting introduction, that's relationship between the rejection, and we're rejecting not only cancer but also organ. So these are the same T cell biology, and just kind of describe this the core biology in a more interesting way. I think that this will grab attention of many people, because we know that, but I don't think anyone has shown in this like large scale database levels.
Mm.
Any comments from Dr. Wu?
I totally agree with the the, the content that we want to deliver, and I think it's because most kidney transplant is the majority of most transplants, so it shows some relationship, but depending the organ, it can be different. So I think it gives them a lot of thought. And as you mentioned, some review article mentioned that it will be that transplant malignancy and rejection will be in those relationships, but there is no supporting data, I think. So it will be good enough.
Yeah, I think this almost can be like T cell biology paper. So this inverse relationship, if you focus more on, I think how you this also could be like, you can title it T cell rejection, T cells rejecting organs and cancers at the same time. And then it could be another, another like a SITC type of project too.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well, that's fun. Yeah. T cells rejecting organ cancer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At the same time.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah. And then understanding how, and then, the in-depth discussion is, this is like, why is lung cancer different than, kidney? What makes that statistics different? And you can kind of come up with ideas. Um, you know, why is lung cancer higher in chronic rejection rate, but it's also high in PTM rate? It's, maybe it's because it's exposed to so many carcinogens. Um, and then the chronic rejection happens, then, but then it might reject. So there's, I think another hypothesis is lung cancer transplant and the lung cancer risk is that if I guess with the chronic rejection, your risk of rejecting the prior cancer is high, but then you are on immune suppressant, so the T cells may not necessarily reject a new primary tumor from popping up. So the idea of chronic rejection, is it related to preventing prior cancer because it's already trained by T cells, versus a brand new cancer popping up, to totally unrelated to well, it doesn't make sense because it's not like a dream study. I take it back because we can't differentiate what was there before and what's new, because they're usually people without malignant history. I'm trying to think,
Yeah.
because because if you think about our ctDNA screening project for all transplant patients, and we kind of wanted to do it and we put that on hold forever, there is reason that, the hypothesis is some donors or recipient may already have cancer in their body, and we just don't know. And you get transplanted, and the cancer will blossom. Versus after transplant, the tumor will arise because of the immune suppression and all that. So I believe there are two different types: existing tumors that weren't found before transplant, and then there are new tumors that will pop up over the years. But it's hard to differentiate which one's which. So I feel like hypothesis-wise, T cells that are able to reject organs can prevent the first group better than the second brand new cancers pop up. But the more I think about it, it's hard to prove. Yeah, but keep thinking, Haesung, maybe, and Dr. Wu as well, like, what is the key, factors that can, explain the difference in PTM risk as well as the rejection risk by organs. And you can read relevant articles, develop your thoughts more, because we don't want to just settle down, okay, this is the risk and this is the difference, but really think hard, why such a big, and then maybe there's a mouse model, or who knows, that the T cells rejecting organs, they're the same T cells that reject cancer. Someone might have developed a preclinical model. Keep reading, you never know what you're gonna find. And just read about what are these T cells, and these T cells may not be that much affected immune with the tacrolimus and all the immune suppressant. So we want more in-depth biology that yes, these are the same T cells that are at work, and they go a long way, or they're usually active for the first 3 years versus 5 years. What's the biology, and how that translate into our clinical database. So there's a lot of good questions that can come out from this. And I'm just surprised that no one really published this depth. I mean, actually, we were actually working with Dr. Cheon. We were actually very surprised that we didn't have to pay for the data, and they just gave us the data, like at no cost and no regulations. Like, we don't owe them anything. We just need to report what we're publishing. And it's really just, think of this as like a company, like we have to and pay them, but this is like the publicly owned, government operated data. So Haesung, if you can create same level, the in-depth, with the international organization, that will be awesome, because it's not just the US data, it will be backed up by the international data. So that could be another, Lancet JAMA paper as well. So but let's this is enough large. Yeah, this is like And then Dr. Wu, I know you're interested in AI too, like what are the factors that predict rejection and, PTM? There's a lot of different variables. I know Dr. Chisang started that. So with all this we can even combine UNOS and international and build larger database and use AI to think about what are the predictors of PTM and graft rejection. We can make an AI model out of it too. So yeah. Okay. So but because the ASCO deadline is coming, you can quickly write up the abstract, Haesung. Okay. Any questions or comments on this project?
No, that's all I have for now.
Okay. Anything else, Haesung?
No, that's it's good.
Okay. Let's take 10-minute break and we'll regroup and yeah. Okay, I am back. Okay, Dr. Wu. Dr. Wu, can you give us an update?
Okay, I want to share my screen.
Yeah.
So this is an update of metastasectomy review. So now the study data is almost done, and as you can see, uh, these are the 5-year survival rates depending on the cell types. So we will include 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 8 primary cancers in this study. So normally, in general, 5-year survival is 40%. 95% confidence interval is between here. And
So this is what stage?
metastasis to lung, so they are all stage 4.
Hmm.
After
Oh,
metastasectomy,
but is this
5 years.
all legal metastatic, right? Not just metastatic, but
Yeah, they didn't actually exactly mention a legal or extensive, but because our current consensus, it will be a legal metastatic disease. But there are some cases with pneumonectomies or extensive excision. So yeah, we can make some statement about that. That could involve some extensive cases because they didn't mention why it required pneumonectomy or extensive. So these are the 5-year outcomes, overall survival after pulmonary metastasectomy, and most cases didn't report progress, recurrence-free survivors. And I think that is because even though there are new reasons pop up, they couldn't say until they get tissues, so it was hard for them to say recurrence-free survivors. And
oh, okay.
yeah, that is my assumption because most study didn't mention, so it was not possible to do meta-analysis for recurrence-free survivors.
Hmm.
And as you can see, about 80 to 90% patient had complete resections.
Hmm.
Most studies mention that complete resection is very important. Some show different Kaplan-Meier curves, and we will integrate those data later. And
Hmm.
anyway, most cases were about 80 to 90% were possible for complete section. Interestingly, the recurrence rate, not every study reported, but we included as much as possible. The recurrence rate during follow-up. So the follow-up period is different, but the recurrence rate is around 60 to 70, but for germ cell tumor, it was quite low. So if you see the graph as a 5-year survival rate, germ cell has much better outcomes, but other types much similar, and melanoma seems relatively low than other types of primary cancer. And in terms of recurrence rate, only these 4 cell types we will update for other cell types for sarcoma and head and neck cancer later, but it seems it will be around here and around renal and melanoma, but germ cell tumor, it seems very low. So this will be a final result for this topic.
Hmm.
So we will find some possible explanations for germ cells and other cell types, why it is low, and that is the remaining projects.
Hmm.
So based on these data, we will write abstract and submit the data for this topic. and later we will continue on the manuscript writing and finish this project. So I want to show other
So go back to the plan. Go back to the plan.
plan. Okay.
So Prospero is who's running the Prospero?
Prospero is run by York University in UK. So for meta-analysis to be published in good journals, we need to register the protocols, and they evaluate the protocol and they reject, they accept, and they approved our protocol. So I think it means that we have done first step well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they search other topics, and if there is a relevant or other types of study already published, they usually reject the protocol.
Mm.
But now, in meta-analysis, this topic can be, valuable, I think.
Mm. So the data extraction 80% done. So is what you show the graph you showed me, is that from the 80%?
Yes, so I want to show you the detailed tables. Just
Okay.
once. So can you see these informations?
Yeah.
So yeah, I just quickly summarize the overall survivors, but here are a lot of data like, demographic, that can be different. As you can see, germ cell, they are very young,
Yeah.
29.6, and there can be some difference in age and composition of sex and solitary region, multiple region, unilateral, bilateral, and some have information about disease-free interval between primary cancer and pulmonary metastasectomy. So we will integrate the whole data, and then this will be the kind of final table for the publications.
Mm-hmm.
So there are information about surgical extent of excision. As you can see, pneumonectomies are around 1.9% to 5%.
Mm.
This is a complete resection and recurrence rate. And among recurrence, some are thoracic only, some are extrathoracic. So, even though, if you see this breast cancer, 15 studies are included, but these numbers below the numbers are included, number of studies included in the meta-analysis based on how many papers reported these values. So this will be final results. So we will pass this and we will add for the other cell type soon. Yeah, we will be if this is needed to be published. So yeah.
So what tumor types did we complete?
Uh we've completed for all in terms of overall survivals, we all completed
Uh-huh.
for these 8 cell types.
Uh-huh.
But for head and neck and sarcoma, I need more information, and Aranus and Brandon is doing well, and they are updating results. So the specific data will be filled soon.
Mm. So survival, you got everybody, every paper.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. So this is enough to submit abstract to ASCO, I think.
Yeah, I agree. So ASCO would be interested in, I haven't seen any of this, comprehensive metastatectomy data in lung. So this would be,
Yeah,
would
so
it be under thoracic surgery, or I don't know, epidemiology? It's not epidemiology. You have to find the right category.
yeah, I think there was a section about pulmonary metastasectomy or metastasis to the lung, something like that. So this will just show the general outcome about pulmonary metastasectomy. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not, we don't have lung cancer here, but it's metastatectomy. So it shouldn't be under lung cancer category because it's not lung cancer. So it's
Yes.
more about biology. It's not biology. It's
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm sure you can find the right category and just before you submit, let me
Yeah.
know what are the ones
Okay.
yeah, I think that's gonna be important, but totally agree. This would be a perfect abstract, but all these data, you can write it in a nice paper. What did we discuss what journal to target?
Yeah. But the problem is, I included many meta-analysis in this topic,
Uh-huh.
but most of them have moderate to low quality in terms of meta-analysis.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah. So even because there is no RCTs in this topic,
right.
also even meta-analysis, they are not that very systematic. They didn't, feel the requirement for some criteria. So the quality of each study is very heterogeneous. So
Oh,
yeah, it will be for this topic, it is very difficult to be accepted for high journals, but it will be needed for the later for anyone to cite about metastectomy. They can see our article and see how things are working in terms of pulmonary metastectomy. So
yeah. This would be a really nice reference paper for anyone who wants to do metastatectomy.
yeah.
Uh, should this be in a surgical journal? Maybe?
Surgical journal. Yeah, it could be possible.
Yeah.
Yeah. But JTC West is the most high thoracic journal in thoracic surgery, but they don't accept meta-analysis. So
Oh, really?
yeah, yeah. They don't accept any meta-analysis if it is not invited. So it's better to any clinical oncology journal. Maybe if we publish this for the surgical journal, they will require more information about surgical techniques and other stuff. So
Mm.
it doesn't quite fit into our scope or our target. So
Oh. Mm. I think JAMA is interested in all these, like usually this practice, more approach wise. JAMA oncology is one we should ask. So why don't you just when you are almost done, write to the editor. Are you interested in this? This is our abstract. Are
mm,
you interested? So JAMA oncology, Lancet oncology, they're more open to these type than the drug, company trials. So ask both of them. I would ask, and then JTO,
okay.
Journal of Thoracic Oncology. I think surgeons they publish there too. JTO, right? Surgeons
Yeah,
do.
yeah, yeah. It will be good if it can be published among them.
Yeah. So yeah, let's do JAMA Oncology, Lancet Oncology, and JTO. Let's just send them, like when you have the abstract ready, just send them an
Mhm.
email to editor because it has to meet their interest. Because they
Okay.
might say, JTO might say, oh, it's not lung cancer. It's
Mm,
like only mets to lung, right? So it
yes.
doesn't feel our scope. Then kind of saves
Mm,
you from like upload everything. So I would start asking them first.
okay. So as long as we finish the abstract, we will send
Yeah,
this to the email. Okay.
yeah. And in the impact factor order, we'll submit.
Okay. Okay.
But I think it's a good project, and yeah, okay, good.
And the next topic is I am done with Hassan, and this is about pre-transplant malignancy on clinical outcome. So actually, we tried to, in UNO's data, there were 16 patients who had double lung because of lung cancer.
Mm,
I want to try to save them, but they had very poor outcomes. So
Oh,
there was no way to, preserve them and compare. There could be more bias. So we include them in the all pre-transplant malignancy. There was a published studies about pre-transplant malignancy and outcomes of other transplant and also lung transplant, but there were many biases. In lung transplant, they included single and double, and composition, age, and sex was very different. So this data, we included UNOS data from 2005. So the red one is no pre-transplant malignancy group. So in overall populations, the pre-transplant malignancy group has very poor outcome in terms of overall survival and also in terms of post-transplant malignancy-free survival. However, there were many differences between two groups. So we first matched age and sex, and after that, the difference in overall survival disappeared.
oh,
Yeah. However, the post-transplant malignancy-free survival still pre-transplant pre-PTM group had low outcomes. And later, we also matched race together. And overall survival, there was no change, so no difference. So this is our main message. However, as you can see, the post-transplant malignancy-free survival still low in pre-transplant malignancy group. So, but however, I think the overall survival is very similar. So
oh,
it shows that, still pre-transplant malignancy group has good outcome or can be good candidate. And so this is a table that we compared. So this is total population. As you can see, the age was different, sex was different, race was different. There were many different factors. So, and we categorize pre-transplant malignancy in these groups. Yeah. This will be, show that. And then also the double lung transplant indication was also a little bit different in total populations. There were many different factors in lung allocation score.
What, how
And
long allocation score? Okay.
yeah, this score, is to show how to select candidates for lung transplant. Yeah. And we matched all these factors. Now they seems much similar. And the interesting part was, in our Kaplan-Meier curve, the post-transplant malignancy-free survival was low in pre-TM positive group.
Yeah.
However, if you see the type of a post-transplant malignancy, it was not under 0.05, but there were many patients with skin cancers included in pre-TM group. So we can discuss, even though they had the low post-transplant malignancy-free survival, it does not affect their long-term survival because there was some difference in terms of severity of post-transplant malignancy. And also, our data includes from 2005 to 2023. So we have more updated and new patients. So we can say that still pre-TM group can be a good candidate in current era. So that will be our message.
So let's go one
Yeah.
by one.
Yes.
Transplant malignancy brain. I mean, that's such a few. Oh, so this is only, did you select by the, oh, why did it turn all zero here?
Sorry, no. This is pre-transplant malignancy. What kind of pre-transplant malignancy they had?
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
mostly a lot of it is breast, GU, head and neck, uh,
Skin.
and skin. Oh, did you have any? Oh, so last time I did ask you, what is the UNOS criteria of,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
So
5 years or,
actually, we asked them, they didn't have any specific criteria, but
oh,
there was information about, I think this article is kind of guidelines.
ah,
Shows, yeah, here there are many, they talk about many things, but in the last column, this table 8 is in terms of lung cancer, they suggested over 3 years, even stage 1. After stages 2, 1B, 5-year recommendations. So we don't
so,
have
so
exact
this is all
data.
expert opinion, right? Expert,
Yeah.
there's
So
no data.
yeah, no data.
Oh,
Actually, they don't have data, but we can presumably think that they decided based on these, backgrounds. So
oh,
in gynecology, there is much 2 to 3 years. So, and also bladder cancer, 6 months. So there were different guidelines based on that. So we are not sure, but in previous article, they all mentioned that, pre-TM group has worse. So be careful. But we can say that pre-TM, even though pre-TM looks worse, if we, in current era, we are having more improved oncologic outcome for cancers. So they cannot be just excluded or too much cautious, or we need to have some more guidelines or consensus so that they cannot be neglected. So I don't know. So I think we can
but
only say that this
what about
Mhm.
breast?
breast, let me tell what breast they said here.
Uh-huh,
The DCIS stage
no,
1,
it,
no wait time.
uh,
Yeah, so there were different guidelines about that.
1 to 2 years, stage 2, 3, 3 to 5 years. Okay. So do you think UNOS just leave it up to the institution? There's
I
no,
think so.
they don't have their own guideline. Oh,
Yeah. So if we have our institutional data about, how about time factor, that can be a good another topic for this one.
yeah, yeah. I just wish UNOS had that data. Like when did they have that prior malignancy? But we don't know, right? We don't have that data.
Yeah,
It's just yes or no.
yeah. There's
Oh,
no data.
that's why we need good database. Because because I don't, well, we do a lot of transplant as an institution, but just to get the recurrence, like a PTM at the one institution level, the sample size is not
Yeah, yeah.
enough to, there's so many random bias.
Yes.
So yeah, as much as I want to do it, I don't think it makes sense to do it at just one single institution. And UNOS
Okay.
doesn't have that data, so I don't think we'll be able to prove it. Only thing we can do is just do cohort C and just report we've done transplant, they're still doing well. Like in the case series, that's all we can
Yeah.
do. Yeah. But for the ones who actually got transplant, before and like 5 year breast cancer, it will be all too much heterogeneity, 3 year prostate cancer, and to combine everything and say PTM, I don't think it means anything in terms of data generation. So let's just focus on, so I guess cohort C, Dr. Wu, you worked with Tarek to publish, case series on cohort C, history of patients who got double lung transplant, just as an aggregate. What do we see? But yeah, let's go back to your paper, this analysis. So, transplant malignancy, yes, this is overall.
This is
Oh,
this is post-transplant malignancy free
free
survival.
survival, okay. So but if most of them are skin cancer, it doesn't affect overall
Yeah.
survival.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty decent message.
Mhm.
And it's a lot of patients, 1,869 you start with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In total, there was about 22,000, so more than 22,000. So yeah.
And we don't have staging information for the malignancy, right?
Yes.
We don't, yeah. Because skin is majority, maybe do the same analysis with skin tumor, without skin tumor.
Mm-hmm.
And you can do it both ways, without skin tumor at the pre-malignancy and see what happens. So it's like 2x2. It's like 2x2.
Okay.
Pre-cancer skin without. Post
Mm-hmm.
transplant malignancy with skin, without skin. So you will have 4 different categories. And kind of it's more exploration, like see how the data changes and
Okay.
see, is it pre-transplant skin or the post-transplant skin that affects more, I think that 4x4 table with all the same analysis would give us an idea, like how much is skin playing a role, Yeah, so I would do that. So whole idea is, these projects, remember this, like metastatectomy and everything, this is all coming out from DREAM, like, what is the biological evidence to support DREAM. And this is telling us, not just lung cancer, but any cancer prior history does not affect the overall survival in the large database. And we know there is no UNOS requirement for that, so it's all institutional. And it's all expert opinion based and not based on any solid database. If at all, if this is the most solid database we can generate. The pre-transplant malignancy affecting the overall survival, I think this is a good data to report and get attention. So why don't you write this up as a ASCO as well?
Okay.
Yeah.
I sound almost did it, I think so. So should we finalize? So
Can you go back to the tables for these?
tables.
Yeah. The Excel file you showed me, yeah.
Yeah.
So these are the pre-TM. Let's go to the post-TM.
Post-TM. Post-TM in total population is here.
Okay. So maybe not necessarily for this ASCO abstract, but I think that what people are gonna ask is that same type of cancer is the one that came back. So that question, like if it was skin, is it the skin that came back? I know there's gonna be multiple cancers, but
Okay.
among them, was it one of them, you can make that kind of analysis.
Do you compare pre-TM type and post-TM type,
Yeah,
right?
the concordant
Oh,
at the
yeah, yeah.
information level.
Dr. Wu,
So,
also these are
okay.
first PTMs, so I will have to go back to the data and extract, just all
Yeah,
PTMs
yeah,
at
we
any
have
point. Yeah.
multiple PTM, right? This is the first PTM, so yeah,
Oh,
we need.
first BTM, okay.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
go back and like get all the PTMs.
Mm,
Yeah, you can combine all the PTMs, but I think first PTM also makes sense. You need to show if at the first recurrence, was it the prior malignancy? So that in
okay.
itself is a good question, but then you also want to do a all combined. And I'm thinking in the order of frequency from pre-PTM, and then in
Mhm.
the order of frequency of the post-PTM, you can sort of like, make a color, red dot. In terms of the frequency, you can make a big red dot, blue red dot, a blue dot, yellow dot, and then you can kind of have an arrow going into if it's like skin cancer to skin cancer, arrow goes this way, and if this goes to, the first, it's just only relevant,
Like a paired t-test, right?
yeah, no, I'm just thinking about graph to show people, how much is going to one type versus the other type. Like an arrow going this way.
Mm.
Like it's not becoming, is one type of cancer. Yeah. Yeah, it's just keep thinking about like how to visualize it better.
Okay.
And is this combined? This is just a double lung
Yeah,
or
double lung.
just double lung? Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
okay. Yeah, I think it's still a decent data with yeah, 23,000 is still a large number to show, definite trend. And what was the lung cancer pre-TM?
Pre-TM, the lung was
2.9. Okay,
4.
so it's
Yeah.
pretty small. Okay. So a lot of others. Hmm. Unknown. Yeah, I think this of itself is a nice brief report. Yeah, once we have it in abstract poster, we can cite it for our own, yeah, and then just, yeah. Okay. Okay, I like the fact that you are able to show no survival difference. So that's big, I think. Okay. Anything else? Okay. So we have time for journal club. Liam, can you present? Yeah,
Yeah.
your updates first, updates. I know we
Yeah,
have
I have
logistic ones we can talk amongst ourselves, but any updates on the projects?
Yeah, and then yes, so updates first, and then we actually presented that paper before.
Oh. We did?
Yeah, we already presented.
Okay.
Can you see the screen?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so a couple of updates. These are relatively quick. So we have an updated mixed response analysis for all the DART cohorts from Megan. So we have some results, and I can show you. So this is what we have so far, and I'll also pull up the slides. But yeah, what she's saying is analysis using the 5 mm cutoff for increase and decrease in 0 mm cutoff. Her interpretation of results is that using the 5 mm cutoff results in more separation of the groups. And outcomes in general seem to be driven by the worst performing lesion. In other words, having any increase leads to worse outcomes, even if not all lesions increase. So if I were to actually switch screens, I can show you the slides too. So these are the mixed response results that Megan sent over.
Mm-hmm. This is based on the 5 mm cutoff.
So starting at page 7 is the 5 mm cutoff. So if you want me to go there.
So for people who are not familiar with this project, this is the DART study. And within DART study, we asked this question. All the lesions are measured as part of RESIST. And it's not that all the lesions will respond, get smaller or larger all at the same time. A lot of times we see mixed. One get larger, one get smaller. So how do you analyze mixed responders and what clinical outcome will they show? So that's the question we're asking here. Okay, Liam, go ahead.
Yeah, so this is using the 5 mm cutoff. This is just the table. And then this is
Go back on the table. So while all lesions increase more than 5, so that's the OS decreased more than 5.7. One or more lesion increase more than 5. One or more lesion decrease more than 5. So it's totally mixed, but it doesn't matter one with decreased. It's driven by the one that increased. So it's still very bad hazard ratio. One lesion more than 1 did not change more than 5. Still bad, 2.25. And that's majority, 32%. One lesion decreased more than 5. Did not show change. That's 20%. That's still kind of, 1.23. Yeah. So, okay, I like this analysis.
and so just going in here, it's kind of small.
Oh, can you, I don't know which one's which.
Might have to download this. I'm gonna change my screen again. Can you see this?
Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, I think it makes sense. I think it follows the trend, but the message is if you have lesion that's increasing, it trumps everything else. Yeah. Good. Show me the next.
That's without cutoffs.
Hmm. Response category, no delta cutoff. Oh, so this is without the 5 millimeter cutoff?
Yeah. Yep. No.
Uh, so yeah, the trend is there, but I think it's augmented by the 5 millimeter cutoff. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what she sent over. And she was asking if you wanted to submit a version of this to ASCO as an abstract or just start working on a manuscript right away.
Let's do it. Let's do it for ASCO.
Okay.
ASCO does not allow graph, correct?
It does not.
Yeah. And does table takes away the word count, right?
I
But table is allowed, right? Table is allowed.
have to double check. I haven't checked, or I don't remember this year's guidelines. Yeah, so one table is permitted,
You can share your graph.
but no more than
You can share your
Sure.
screen.
So if you look here, it's this section right here. Figures are not permitted. There is one data table is permitted per abstract, but limit the tables to no more than 10 rows. It's 2,600 characters. I think the character, like the table, like just kind of goes into the character count. So how many characters in the
Are
table?
in the table,
Probably.
okay. Makes
Yeah.
sense. So for this, as well as Dr. Wu and Dr. Hesong, we will create table because if we don't create it, it's gonna be too much information. Um, so for this one, for all different categories, what is the hazard ratio? And what is the median overall survival? Percentage number of patient in that category, and all that. It's in a table format. Yeah. And brief description about all this. So I know Dr. Chian started it and Dr. Taegyu kind of took over. And then Dr. Taegyu is still in the military, right?
Yes.
Okay. So but then after Dr. Taegyu, do you know anyone who took over this project, Liam?
Which one?
This mixed response project.
Oh, so after her, it was handed over to Seong.
Taeyong, right? And Taeyong is
Yes.
now taking USMLE.
She's preparing.
Yeah. So
I don't
let's
know
do
if she set a date yet.
so you can ask her today. We can't wait more than 24 hours. Ask her today if she has bandwidth to write up this manuscript.
The manuscript, right?
Oh, I'm sorry, the at least the abstract. So is Taeyong say, no, I have a test coming up next week. I don't think I can write this.
Right. So the abstract, well, I'm actually not, I don't know if this is the one you're referring to.
Mhm.
This one, we already submitted an abstract to AACR, which got accepted. So this was the clinical implications of mixed response on prognosis of NSCLC in patients treated with immunotherapy.
Yeah, so this is lung cancer, but this is DART data.
Oh, using the DART data.
Yeah.
Oh,
By the way, this is is this AACR or ESCO?
Yeah, this is the AACR.
So AACR, okay, yeah, this is AACR. AACR. AACR accepted papers. So how many do we have accepted?
We have a total of 12.
We have total of 12. And we are still waiting for the clinical trial ones, right?
Yes.
Okay. And we don't need to click accept, right? It's just automatically if we have to tell them we're not going to present, right?
Yes, it's automatically, if we don't do anything, it's automatically accepted. But
Okay.
you can, but then we do have to submit our posters in March, but there's still some time.
Oh, okay. Okay. Because ASCO, I think you have to click accept, otherwise they will assume you're not going to present. So you have to kind of follow that too. For this so DART mixed response, we never presented this anywhere, correct? DART
We
mixed.
did not. Yeah, we just want the analysis in. So
So
do you want
I don't think
us?
Taeyong was ever involved in DART mixed, correct?
No, she was
No.
not.
So I think Liam, you are the only one who's been exposed to DART mixed project, correct?
Yeah, it was me and Hesong.
Yeah, it has on. Okay. So Haesung, I know you got a lot on your plate, but you're welcome to work with Liam as much as you want, and be part of the author. Or you may choose to opt out and I don't have bandwidth. I will totally leave it up to you because you have a lot on your plate. But you're welcome to help Liam. But Liam, you'll be in charge of actually writing it up and submitting to ESCO.
Mhm.
But because this is a DART trial, we definitely have to send it to BMS. And then it's like the DART paper. Same thing. You have to send it to Patricia. So and then we have deadline, and you know. So my suggestion is you just the everything that Megan sent us, just send it. So just write that out in an abstract form, and the introduction is like we don't know what the implication of mixed response outcome will be, and DART trial is a great trial to look into that question, and the method is like DART, what is DART trial? This is DART trial, how we're treating this, then that, and then the analysis is the table and the graph you showed me. That's it. And then the conclusion is yes, the progressor seems to trump the even the good response seen with the mixed response. So that's the main message. It's pretty easy write up. So I would do this. I would write it up today, send it to Megan. Megan agrees, and we send it to everybody. Patricia should send it out to BMS, all the NCI players. And Liam, you and I will decide who the author is gonna be today. It's Megan and Megan's student, you and me, and maybe Haesung, if she wants to be involved. And then it's sort of the whole DART team, the PIs as well as Megan, but we don't need like clinical investigators or all the DART people there, because this is like really just subgroup analysis, sub project pending out from it. So so that would be our author list. But because this is a DART trial, I will be the first author, and Megan will probably be the second author, and then all the others will come next. So yeah, I would send it to Megan today, get her approval. Once you get it, fix what she wants to fix, then send it to Patricia. Well, I guess we need Kerdrak's approval. So when we send to Megan, we'll just send to Kerdrak as well. And once you write the first draft, send it to me so that I can make final revision, and I will send it to Megan and Kerdrak both at the same time.
Okay.
Okay. So
yes,
because this is DART, we just need our deadline is literally now, because there's a SWOG rule for any abstracts. So okay, thank you for bringing it up.
yes, and then
And well,
couple
yeah,
more
let's just
things.
finish the conversation. So regarding the paper, I think, do you know when Seong's coming? Seong will still be a great
Well,
person to write this up because she's been involved in non-small cell mixed response.
yes, so like we mentioned yesterday, the goal is to get her before AACR.
Before ACR.
In 2 months.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, potentially going to Seong. Unless anyone, feel free to ask me if any one of you want to be part of the project. We don't tell people not to be involved. So okay, next.
Right. And then the next one was just Gardens. They wanted to see if you can if you have an evening in February for a speaker event.
Oh, yeah. Did they give you a date?
No, they wanted you to provide potential dates.
Oh, okay. So let's February 8th or 22nd. 29. '26. 26, 29 preferred. Just yeah, let's just do that. Okay, thank you. So if the dates are set, all of you, our lab members, are welcome to come for the dinner. I'll just gonna be giving talks about the liquid biopsy. The dinner will be around here. Okay, so this is the pharmacogenomics team, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So the first and most important question is if you can make time 5 p.m. after 5 p.m. Central, so their team can join a Zoom call. Are you able to make this happen?
No, not in the morning, but Central Time. Oh, so she's in Yonsei, right?
Yeah.
Oh, Central Time. 저녁. Oh, so if we do it in the morning, it's gonna be nighttime for them. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay, let's just pick a date on after ASCO, maybe February. The ASCO is 6, right? Yeah. So maybe oh wait. February 7 or 14th. Let's do 5 to 5:30.
Okay. And then just there's a couple of agreements that need your signatures that were sent to your inbox. So I think we can go sign those and send them out later today.
Yeah,
Together.
just come to me. Let's find it. I couldn't find it last time, but let's just find out.
And
Okay.
then just one more logistical thing for our ASCO abstract submissions. So ASCO only allows 2 regular abstracts per author. So I know we have a couple of authors or members here who are working on multiple projects and abstracts. So we actually need to organize like who's going to be submitting what, and if we're going to submit any of them at a later conference.
So, I thought that rule disappeared. Is it still two?
Yeah, so it's still 2 regular abstracts. Trials in progress, you can submit as many as you want, is what they're saying. Right
The
there.
individuals may submit up to 2 regular abstract as first author. Unlimited trial. Membership is not required. However, each abstract must be sponsored by a ASCO member. Oh, so there was actually a rule how many you can sponsor, but that rule disappeared, correct?
I think so. Yeah. So we've never had like sponsorship issues. I just think for this submission, like this ASCO, we need to organize who's going to be submitting how many. Because it's only
Okay.
2 per author, and
That's-
you are like, yeah. So I was thinking, there's a lot. So and especially with Hesong, Dr. Hesong, I think, because she's working on a lot of projects and aiming for ASCO, we would need to decide on which one she wants to submit now and maybe potentially move others to either World Long or
Oh,
other
I
conferences.
see, because it only allows 2 first authors.
Yeah, 2 per first author. And because I know she has a lot of projects she's aiming for ASCO right now. I mean, if
Right.
there are co-authors that can, submit together, and if Dr. Hesson was okay with that, that's up to her. She can decide, but unfortunately, she can only submit 2 as first author here.
Yeah, I mean, Stas
Um,
can be the first author for heterogeneity and Dr. Wongi, right? Yeah, he can do.
Yeah, so they can split up, but I think like we need to decide today because literally the submission deadline's next week.
Yeah.
Like,
Let's decide for each one. So let's go one by one. So anything dream related, I will still be the first author.
Yeah, so we have so I was thinking we would just still submit the dream interim analysis with cohort A,
Yeah, cohort A.
and the trials in progress one. Those 2 will be submitted under you as the first author.
Yeah, but the trial in progress doesn't count. So
Yeah, so that one's fine. And then we are gonna aim to submit the DART one,
what is start
the
one?
mixed response.
Yeah. So that I will be the first author.
Mhm.
Wait, Liam, so is there no limit for World Long?
World Long, I think ASCO is the only one that has this limit.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I can do
Right.
all the transplant stuff except for the pre-TM for World Long.
So well, the sponsor will be all me. That's but well, I guess something under means the first author. Just write first author. Sponsor will
Okay.
be all myself. There's no limit there. There used to be a limit, so I had trouble finding sponsor. It doesn't make sense, but sponsor is just it's crazy. So for anything Dart related, I'll be the first author. And Seong
Mhm.
is the first author?
Yeah, so for picture health, we are currently working on 6 abstracts.
Okay.
So these Taeyong will be submitting 2, I'll be submitting 2, and Picture Health will submit 2 is kind of our game plan as of now.
Okay. So write that all
Mhm.
down. So but let's move on. That's fine.
Yes.
Dr.
And
Yuri's
then
radiomics will be
Monica, yeah, and then Monica, we actually have 3 abstracts working for Monica. We have the immunotherapy response, we have the toxicity, and then other clinical variable prediction, like genetic mutations and etc.
Okay, so that's 3.
So we need one person to submit one of them.
But Liam, you're full.
Yeah, so I think this one will have to go to either like Peter, or if like Dr. Jian is coming, maybe we can give one to her.
Is Dr. Jian coming to ASCO?
That is what she said. I don't know
Okay.
if her plans changed, but
If you know
yeah, because
Dr. Jian is coming, it should go to Jian because she spent a lot of time with all the radiomics project. If she's not gonna come, you can talk to Peter because Peter also worked a lot on radiomics. Okay, so let's do that.
So that's that. And then moving on to Dr. Heshong. So I know I think our priority for ASCO right now is Tempest abstracts, right?
Yeah.
So will it be just one for mucinous and one for lipidic?
So what are the other project that I told Hesong today? Hesong?
Yeah, it was the transplant project. I was going to submit the graft rejection PTM one,
Right.
but I can delay that to World Lung.
Are you gonna go to World Long? Because you don't know, because you might start residency and the World Long is
Yeah,
in
we'll
September. You
see.
may not. So my preference, this is, so I want to make this clear. Some of the, let's say, dream trials in progress, we are submitting so that people will know about this trial, learn, and refer more patients. So it's more for visibility. And the same thing. So there's that. We want people to know more about our research so that patient can benefit more. So that's one purpose. But the equally important project is for all my mentees to succeed. That's equally important project. For the project itself, sometimes just a paper is fine, but the reason why we're really pushing is for you guys to have that experience. Hesong went to Singapore with me, and she really enjoyed that experience. So just be able to go and present and be there in person. I think it's a really, really good experience for you. I don't need that experience more. It's for you to really get that motivation and interaction. So if there's a chance you may not go to World Long, Hesong, then I would encourage you to just go. Well, what is the chance that you are able to go to ASCO?
ASCO, I think I can make it. Because I was planning on coming to the US, like returning to the US in June anyways, because to prepare for residency. But I think World Long there is a chance I could go because it's just a few days. It's usually over the weekend. No guarantees, but I might be able to.
Right.
It's just over the weekend. Also, it's not international this time. It's just San Diego.
Right.
I think it's possible. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's possible.
It'd be
Okay.
nice to see you guys again.
Oh yeah, yeah. So I would say what's more certain is you can go to ASCO. So I think you can. So it may or may not be accepted. ASCO, we're assuming this will be all accepted, but ASCO acceptance rate is less than 20%. A lot of times our abstracts don't get accepted. World long acceptance rate is really high. So I would still submit So I would for you combine mucinous lapidic. Sounds crazy, but just try to combine it and make it a very short description for both.
But then didn't you already submit the abstracts to Tempest for their review?
Oh, really? We already did.
Yeah,
So
they're
then
undergoing internal
mucinous is
review.
more important because wasn't mucinous more patient, right? So than
Yeah.
lapidic. So then it's already then just keep the mucinous, use lapidic for world long, Hesong. Hoping that you can go. And then I think transplant story is really important. So then you can be first author for those two. Make sense?
Sounds good.
Okay. And
And
then
will it just be one abstract for everything transplant related?
yeah. Yeah. Right, Hesong? Do you need more abstract?
Oh, for transplant, the rejection thing, I think, I'll just focus on the time-dependent Cox analysis and the landmark. I can do it in the manuscript. I think that's a bit too much.
Yeah,
Also, like running this analysis, like takes so long.
right.
It's a massive data.
Yeah. So just do one abstract and maybe Liam, while you're doing it, do some start preparing something for the world long because they're not that far away. And for Hesong for world long, it's the lipidic and just lung cancer focused rejection and PTM story for that.
Yes, for that one, you want me to subdivide into acute and chronic, or is it just chronic? I
Acute
think for
and
the
chronic.
paper, you wanted okay.
Yeah, for paper, I wanted the supplemental for acute, but depends on what interesting things you find, we can submit that to World Lung too, depending on what you find.
Yeah, that's true. If it's just lung transplant, I can like compare between unilateral and bilateral, and then acute and chronic. I'll do
Right, you can,
multiple things
yeah,
because
you
it's just
can
one
do,
transplant.
yeah, and World Lung, we still have a lot of time, so
Yeah.
yeah. So let's do that, and there's no limit on the author, so for the first authorship, so you can create as many different stories as much as possible. Okay, let's move on. Ether has the Lunit Till story paper, so Ether will do that. And Stas will be the first author for NU heterogeneity. But Hesong, you should be like equal contribution, something like you're working hard on this with Stas too. So yeah, work with Stas to get it out. And Sally, Imagine AI. Yeah, we should we have a meeting today, so yeah. Sally would be that person. And Alan, Perishrat and meta-analysis. I don't know if he did anything on this.
I don't
Did you get
think
any
so. I
update?
haven't heard any. No updates from him, so I don't think he'll be able to submit.
Okay, so maybe world long because we don't have time. But you can ask Alan to see if he has done anything to submit to ASCO. But if not, no.
Yeah, I just messaged him, so I'll see what he says.
And then metastatectomy, as well as the pre-TM, Dr. Wu can write that up as well. Pre-transplant, yeah.
So
And
equal
that's
contribution is okay, right? But like submitting author should be a single person, and
Right.
it's two per person. Yeah.
Right, yeah, for submitting wise, it's two author. But Hesong Stats and that with Dr. Wu, you could be the equal contribution first author.
Thank you.
So that's 12 abstracts, Dr. Chae.
Oh, Carolyn, I think Carolyn is submitting the immune tox data. Put Carolyn, but I will be her sponsor. Carolyn Moloney. So Tarek might have more than one abstract for the dream because we said cohort ABC. B is adrenal cortical case report. Yeah, so for the cohort, if that's the case, then cohort A, I will be the first author. Cohort B and C, I think we can let Tarek be the first author. I'll be the last author for those two. And Dr. Wu, you should be involved in all cohort ABC. So work with Tarek, help him write, because he's not surgical, he's medical. So I want you to be all involved in cohort ABC. We're gonna write them as a separate case series. And it's just an abstract, it's fine. That yeah. So yeah, Dr. Wu and DM just get in touch with Terry, and the deadline's coming soon, so we don't want like the last night. Yeah. Yeah, so we have 15 abstract from our lab. Hopefully we're not missing anything. Okay. DM next.
I think that's good enough for now. We
Okay.
have a very busy week.
Yeah, with the abstract, with the ASCO deadline. So anything that doesn't get in, and I will leave it up to the first author to decide, because sometimes they have, because AACR, they don't have online only, but ASCO has online only acceptance. Right? That's
Yeah.
what yeah. So
They have e-posters.
yeah. So e-posters, yeah. So I'm okay with e-poster. But I'll leave it up to the first author to decide. No, I want to actually go and present in person, so I'll submit to the next conference. That's okay too. You know what I mean? I'm supporting their experience. Like if e-poster, it's not even e-poster, it's e-abstract, and you don't even get to
Right.
make poster for that experience. So you would, so that I would rather do this for World Long or the SITC. I will be supportive. So but if you're like, oh, I want to put that in my CV as soon as possible, I don't care if it's poster or e-abstract, it's okay. I mean, I'm doing this to support you guys. So I will leave it up to the first author to decide what you want to do upon acceptance. Obviously, if it's not accepted, we'll go to the next conference for you guys to present. But this doesn't exempt you from working on the paper. You have to work on the paper in parallel. And some people worry that if you write the paper and submit it earlier than the conference, that might be a problem. No, it's not, never a problem. You get it accepted and it takes time to get it published. So I don't care. Just submit the paper even if it's before the conference date. And usually what they do is they embargo it, the embargo until the conference. So it's never an issue. So still write your manuscript, get it ready, submit it, even if it's before the poster presentation. So I just wanted to make that clear. Okay, so that's that. Before we wrap, Let's talk about journal club. So what was the paper that I sent to you, Liam? Can you show it to me?
Yes.
Well, sorry, I think you asked me something. Oh, am I?
Mm,
And Sally, did I give you one journal club? Did I send you a
Mm.
journal club, Sally?
I presented 2 weeks ago, but not after that.
Oh, okay. So I didn't send you anything more after that?
Mm-mm.
Okay. And Haesung, I know I just sent you one, but did I send you more?
Oh, oops. Oh, no, but right now I'm a bit overwhelmed with all this analysis going on.
Oh, yeah. So let's do it after ASCO. That's, next is ASCO, so whatever I sent you, do it after ASCO. I didn't think about ASCO. Monica, did I send you an article? No?
No.
Oh, okay. So Liam, yeah, did you find the article I sent you?
I'm still looking. Might be easier.
I think last week Alan had one. Um,
Oh yeah, Alan had one,
yeah,
right?
but I don't remember which one. Yeah.
Alan had one. Okay. You can't find it? Maybe just
I am trying another application. If I downloaded,
so did you prepare or you thought that was presented before? Because I can't remember it was presented before.
oh, so it was presented with Sal. So we kind of worked on it together. It was the Atizo biomarker one, the radiomics or the pathomics. It was the AI-powered assessment of pathologic response to neoadjuvant Atizo in non-small cell results from the LCMC3.
Oh, who presented this?
So Sally actually gave the presentation and we worked on it together.
Oh, but I sent you that too?
Yeah, you sent this one to me.
Oh, now I get it. Okay, so I was gonna send you two different ones, but I ended up so it's my bad. Okay, so I will so my plan is to do at least one journal club per each lab meeting. So hopefully Alan can do it next week and Haesung can do it in the follow week. And I will keep send the I think the relevant articles for our own research, which is gonna help our own research, I will try to find and review it. So it will be radiomics, pathomics, biomarker analysis, or toxicity analysis, things like that. So we'll send it your way, and maybe when I send it to you, I'll CC Sally and Liam so that they keep track of who's doing what journal club. So we will. So Sally, why don't you make like list of journal club who's presenting what paper? And then you can create like a Google Drive, like people who want to have access to the PowerPoint and the actual article. Just let's start to pile that in the so that we're more systemic, systematic in like a journal club, because I want this to be a more like a learning experience as well, um not like ad hoc. So let's put more structure in our lab meeting, because it's like a full morning we're devoting to learn. um uh, and then just don't rely on me only. If you find a really good article and you want to discuss it, um and I like the nature science NEJM level papers, or um but 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 if you think it's a good paper, just talk to me and I will let you present at the journal club as well, because it's a great way to get feedback and learn, and we can incorporate any of the analysis they use into our own manuscript. So um okay, so we will wrap up here. Any questions or anything before we wrap up?